Hi students, and welcome to the second part of lesson 3. So for these examples, guys, I'm going to be focusing on a pretty important formula. This one right here. Now, hopefully it should look pretty familiar. This formula is all over grade 9 and 10. But in case you're not familiar with it, basically it's a formula for how we figure out the gradient if we're given a pair of Cartesian coordinates. So M is the letter we use to represent the gradient. Why the letter M? I don't know. They just decided that was a good letter to use for gradients. So it's saying to find the gradient, it's the second y coordinate, take away the first coordinate, divided by the second x coordinate, take away the first x coordinate. So what does that mean? Well, let's zoom out and have a look at an example together. So, question 7 here. Let's move that a little more. There we go. So question 7 is saying determine the value of the gradient of the straight line graphs that pass through the following points. So I have a pair of Cartesian coordinates here. 2, 3, and 5. Whoops, let's try the highlight tool. Oh dear, there we go. So I have a pair of Cartesian coordinates here, 2, 3, and 5, 12. And it's asking me to figure out what the gradient of the line that passes through those 2 points is. So what I've done is I've decided to label it. This is my first x coordinate, this is my first y coordinate. This is my second x coordinate, this is my second y coordinate. So I wrote the formula and then I substituted my values. My second y coordinate is 12, as you can see up here. My first y coordinate is 3, and I've written it down there. My second x coordinate is 5, and I've written that there. My first x coordinate is 2, and I've written that there. So this is saying 12 take away 3 divided by 5 take away 2. That simplifies to 9 divided by 3, which simplifies to 3. Simple. So the gradient is 3. Another example would be, well, if we have a line that passes through -1 and 3 and 2, 7, what's the gradient? Well, the gradient would be, again, I substitute. What's my second y coordinate? It's this one here, 7. What's my first y coordinate? It's this one here, 3. What's my second x coordinate? It's 2. What's my first x coordinate? It's -1. So students, just be careful. There's an easy mistake to make here. 7 take 3 is 4. I hope we all got that right. But 2 take away -1, well, that turns into 2 plus 1, doesn't it? And 2 plus 1 is 3. So a lot of students make the mistake of subtracting 1 there. No, 2 take away -1 is positive. It's going to turn into a positive. So it becomes 2 plus 1, which is 3. So the gradient of this one is 4 over 3. So it's a fraction answer. Okay, one more example. Whoops, didn't mean to do that extra line there. So a line has a gradient of 5. If it passes through the points -2 and b and -1 and 7, find the value of b. So once again, first thing I do, write my formula. Then I substitute in what I know. Well, I know the gradient in this one is 5, don't I? So I replace letter m with the number 5. I know the second y coordinate. Well, see how I've gone up here and labelled x1 and y1. Then I've labelled x2. Apologies for that, students. I'm recording this while our bells are still going. Anyway, so I've got my first x coordinate, my first y coordinate, my second x coordinate, my second y coordinate. So I substituted in my equation. Well, y2, that's 7. So I replaced it with the number 7. y1, well, we don't know y1. So I'm just writing the letter b. x1, that's right, my apologies, students. x2 is -1. So I replace x2 with -1. x1 is -2, so I replace it with -2. Then I have an equation that looks like this, and I need to solve it. So I started by collecting my like terms. Well, -1 take -2, that's the same as -1 plus 2. -1 plus 2 is 1. And guys, if I'm dividing by 1, well, there's no point. It just goes away, like that. And I'm left with 5 equals 7 take away b. And guys, at this stage, it's a pretty easy equation to solve. I move the 7 to the other side. Opposite of positive 7 is -7. So 5 take away 7 is -2. But, hang on a minute. We've got -2 equals -b. I don't want negative b, I want positive b. So you can see here, I've divided both sides by -1. So negative b divided by negative 1 gives me b. Negative 2 divided by negative 1 gives me 2. So b is equal to 2. The missing value here is 2. Anyway, students, that's the end of the second round of examples for lesson 2. Hope you got something out of it. Now, students, you're off to do the second lot of exercises outlined in the OneNote. Good luck. I'm sure you'll do fine.